So Electra Von Grave is available for pre-order. So in this video, I want to discuss one of the big question marks that I have about Electra, and that is critical hits. Critical hits.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
What is up, heroes of Dominion? My name is Charlie. This is Hero War Central, and in this video, we're going to talk about Electra Von Grave against Ishmael. Critical hit test. That's it. That's what we're talking about today. I was given a red level 100 Electra. Not really actually in exchange for anything. It was the email says something like, thanks for being a content creator for us. Here's a hero. We hope that you make some content about her. There's no exchange of money or anything like that. And I don't know that I would have bought Electra if I wasn't given her, but that's really outside the scope of this discussion. So I did a little bit of a baseline test, and I kind of wanted to show off a little bit of that baseline test. So the first thing that I did was test Ishmael versus Electra, and I'm using Martha here because Ishmael will kill Electra in a 1v1. First disclaimer, in no real world player versus player application does this matter, okay? And I say that because 1 versus 1 and 1 versus 2 isn't in any game mode anywhere. What I'm trying to do here is compare critical hit rates versus Electra compared to critical hit rates versus another tank, if that makes sense. So I'm going to compare Ishmael attacking Electra, and then I'm going to use Ishmael to attack into Rufus. Now there is some other disclaimers that I should probably mention. I'm going to let this play while we go. Play. There we go. Well, let's see. We have a 10.5% crit rates on Ishmael. Okay, 10.5%. This is a very small sample size of one fight. If we had a way to test hundreds of fights, thousands of fights, then we would have a better look at it. We had 8 critical hits during the 2 minutes, and there was 84 attacks. Okay, 84 total attacks by Ishmael. Roughly 8 crits is a 10.5% critical hit chance. There are less heroes hitting Ishmael here. Obviously, Sebastian and Nebula and others would increase the critical hit chance. That is 100% true. I just wanted a baseline to reference in the future, which is why we're doing this here. So 84-ish attacks. It's hard to see sometimes with ults and all of that, but roughly 84 attacks and roughly 8 crits. Again, not super scientific, but it is what it is. Then we went ahead and ran this fight against Rufus, Dorian, and Martha. More heroes are hitting Ishmael here, so in theory, he should ult more. Obviously, armor, magic defense, health, none of that actually matters when it comes to critical hit rate. And Rufus's strength stat is going to be dramatically lower than Electra's strength stat, which is the point of this video. Of course, Electra has the ability to convert all armor, magic defense, and dodge into strength, which causes critical hits against her and dodges from her to be significantly lower. So in this fight with Ishmael, again, a sample size of 1, very small, we had roughly 85 attacks, and the crit was 32 times. We crit 32 times. So if you take 85, and again, it's roughly 85. It may be like 80, it might be 90, but 85, what did I say? 32. So you take 32 divided by 85 is just over 38%. So, you know, we'll call it 35 to 40% crit chance against Rufus compared to a 10-ish% chance to crit against Electra. So the one thing that I really wanted to find out is, you know, how well does Electra handle critical hit heroes? And I think she handles them pretty well. The main problem with this whole argument is that Ishmael, Yasmin, Lara Croft, Zhu, Daredevil, you know, whatever, all of those heroes are critting more than just, well, I guess Ishmael is just attacking the front line. Everybody not named Ishmael, I guess, is doing critical hits to everybody on the enemy team, and they all have no high main stat like Electra does. So it doesn't really work out in the real world for player versus player. She doesn't reduce crit chance to your whole team. It's just to Electra, right? I wanted kind of a baseline to look at when we're discussing this. The next question that I really have is in the YouTube video where they revealed Electra to us, it says that Electra is strong against Ishmael, Heidi, Yasmin, and Tristan. I understand why she's good against Ishmael. Yasmin doesn't really attack. I mean, she does. Her basic auto attacks the front line, but her ult famously will attack, enemies behind your tank, right? Heidi attacks the midline, I guess. I just don't understand why Electra is strong against like Heidi, Yasmin, and Tristan. I think I would just prefer to have Corvus. We're going to explore that in another video, maybe during our live stream. We will be live today, 12 p.m. Central Time. That is 6 p.m. UTC. It is interesting, though, this very small sample size, Electra doesn't put out a ton of damage as much as I thought she would. It makes me think that her reflect damage isn't properly being calculated by the damage stats here. But again, that's a discussion for another video. If you have any questions about Electra, let me know. Let me know in the comment section down below. I do have her full of item list published on the blog, herowarcentral.com. All right, there it is. Thanks to Anthony Smith for sharing it with me. Yeah, I love you all. Good luck in Dominion.